This is Renan from Developer Soapbox, and today I'm going to be showing you how to read and write to Excel using Kotlin. So one thing I do want to mention is that even though in this case I'm using Linux and will be using LibreOffice instead of Excel, all of the code that I write in this tutorial is 100% compatible with Excel. So the first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and open up your IDE. In this case, I'm going to use IntelliJ Community Edition. Go ahead and create a new project. And we're going to create a Maven project from archetype. So go ahead and check that box and scroll down until you find this one, the Kotlin archetype JVM. Go ahead and click Next. Type in your group ID. Logs.com. Artifact, I'll just name it Kotlin Excel. And click Next. Accept. Finish. Okay, so once you have your project, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and add the necessary dependencies to our POM file. And in this case, we're going to add dependencies to the POI project, Apache POI. And that is the library which actually allows us to interact with Excel. Okay, so let's go ahead and add dependency. The group ID in this case is org.apache.poi. The artifact ID is poi, and version as far as at the time of this tutorial is 3.17 is the latest. Okay, and then we'll add a second dependency, and if we can just go ahead and copy and paste the first one, and after here in the artifact ID after POI, just type in -oo.xml. So the first thing we're going to want to do once we have our dependencies is go ahead and write some code. And just go ahead and source, main, go to your package, create a new Kotlin file. Let's just call this main.kt. And let's create our main method. Okay, so the first thing we need is to instantiate an actual workbook, right? So what I'm going to do is create a variable called Excel WB, Excel workbook. And this is going to be an instance of XSSF workbook. There we go. Okay. Second thing is create a reference to a sheet within the workbook. So what I'm going to do is create Excel worksheet equal to workbook dot create sheet. Okay, so now that we have a reference to an Excel worksheet, let's go ahead and write a value to the sheet. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is basically create a row within the sheet and specify which row and basically row and column coordinates for the cell that we want to write to. So in this case, we're going to create row, and all the indices are 0 based. Right, so I'm just going to write to the first cell within the worksheet itself. So create row will be 0, and create cell also 0. And I'm going to set cell value to, let's say, hello Excel. Okay. Once we do that, all we need to do is basically create an output stream to generate the file itself, right? So I'm just going to do a output equal to file output stream, and all you have to do is specify the file path to your Excel file. So in this case, I'm just going to do within the same directory test.xlx, and then Excel workbook dot write the actual output stream, and then go ahead and close the workbook. Okay, and that should be it. So let's go ahead and see if that works. So go ahead and run. now it's just building and executing. Okay, there we go, and there. So code finish. As we can see, I wrote within the same directory as my project. So there's our test file. Let's see if it actually works though. So I am in downloads. There it is. So let's open it. And hello Excel. There we have it. Okay, so now that we know how to actually write to an Excel file, let's go ahead and do an example of how to read the Excel file. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll change this hello Excel to hello Excel after update. And I'll go ahead and save this. That's fine. Keep as Microsoft Excel format. As I mentioned, even though I am using LibreOffice, all of this should be 100% compatible with Excel. Okay, and now my file is saved. I'll just go ahead and close it. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and deleted all the code to write to an Excel file, just so we can write the code to read from an Excel file in our main method. So let's get started. So just as we needed an output stream to write to the file, in this case we need an input stream. So just gonna instantiate input is equal to file input stream, and go ahead and put in the path to the file, which is in this case is test.xlsx. Okay, and then just again, as we did for writing to the file, we just need reference to the workbook and a reference to the sheet that we're going to be reading from. Okay, so I'll call it the same. Workbook is, but instead of doing as an instantiation of a workbook, I'm going to use workbook factory because the workbook already exists. Create based on the input stream, right? So go ahead and then Excel worksheet is Excel workbook dot get sheet at, and this allows you to pass the index of the sheet that you want to read from. In this case, the index is the first sheet, so it's just 0. So now that we have your sheet, let's go ahead and read the value from that very first cell in the workbook. So we'll just print to the console just to make this example easy. So print line Excel worksheet, and we're going to, instead of creating as we did in the writing example, we're going to get an existing value. So get row 0, that's the very first, the index for the very first row, and get cell also 0, again index for the very first cell. And that should be it. So let's see if that works. Go ahead and run. And there we have it. As you can see, we read from the workbook, and that's the value that we had after we updated. We opened the workbook and updated the value and then saved, and that's the value we had. So that's it. I mean, I know this is a really simple example, but I hope it helps you get started as far as how you would go about reading and writing to and from Excel. If you need additional examples, like specific examples on how you would do particular things, if you actually Google Apache Poi, they have an awesome site as far as how you would accomplish very specific tasks. So I highly recommend that. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, go ahead and hit that like button. If you'd like to get notified every time I release a new video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much.